And we're
Right.
live.
Happy Friday, folks. Here we are.
Good morning.
Good morning, Moon. How are you today?
Excellent. This
Excellent. Love that.
this has been a really interesting week coming on live in a certain time. Today we're earlier than usual, and yeah, what are we talking about today?
I think it's just a moment. It's been quite a journey, as you said. We talked about on Monday vulnerability, then we move into discipline. I brought something on the detachment, and yesterday we talked about control. So I think
Mm,
it's nice to see what in on the wider theme of freedom,
mhm,
our point or reflections. But what I would like to do today instead is without prompting a text. Instead, I will work on an image. So get ready, Moon. Here we are.
mm.
Let's put a
Wow.
fantasy image.
Hmm.
And again, we touched those 4 points during the week. Not to show what we bring to you in relation to freedom. What do you see in this image? What kind of reflection we prompt?
Mm. There's a lot in this image.
It's
I
quite
think
a number of things. Yeah.
the first things that come up is this primal instinct that we have, where in the animal kingdom there's always somebody's always running and somebody's always chasing, and that is ingrained in our system. We have this primal instinct to do things, to react to situations, and actually it's good for us. We need to be able to detect dangers. But if you look at the horses, um, whenever you see horses running, you just feel this sense of freedom. So yeah, and then the wolves, they walk in a pack. There's so much. How much time do we have? 5 minutes.
Yeah,
But
just
to
yeah,
yeah, to come
just pick
back.
one of the elements randomly. Just the what if you pick one, and then we might zoom in that.
Okay, I think what I would look at today is this primal instinct, is to
Yeah,
I think is to respect our biological structure while being able to take command. Because you talk about, like yesterday, you talk about you have a 2 to 8. That's the thing that you
yeah,
can't control. Like our body is decaying, and we have these rhythms of doing things. But at the same time, we also has a lot of other control in how we're showing up in our lives. For example, we don't always have to run. We don't have to react from fight, freeze. And yeah, so maybe freedom comes from a sense of being able to take better care of our body and our mind.
yeah. I like the biological rhythm that you mentioned. There's a lot of rhythm in here. I know clearly in a natural context, but there's a
Hmm.
lot of light. There's a nature in there around us, and that gives you
Hmm.
the immediate feeling of lightness, of
Mm.
being part of something that is greater than us. So I think for me,
Hmm.
when I look at this picture, there's a reconnection. There's a bit of a transcendence, to mention something more complex. But it takes me for a moment away from where from my day to day, and it just gives me the kind of inspiring lightness, energy, and reconnecting to my body first before I go out and do anything else. So I found a lot of peace, and for me,
Mm.
peace is freedom.
Yeah, yeah. So for the audience, who some of you probably have been watching us this week,
Yeah,
um, what would be the takeaway for you, in terms of freedom? Because freedom is such a broad topic. But how are you showing up in your life? In when we talk about vulnerability, when we talk about having more control and the detachments, what are those elements showing up?
yeah. For me, what I take away actually, there's so many things, but I just pick the one that it just comes up really right now is exactly what we did together, dancing in the moment, getting away from
Mm,
structure and plans and pre-packaged thoughts. Actually, being in this space for a few minutes, free flowing, just releasing energy and dancing together around something That could be an image, could be a thought, could be a word, an exchange. Actually, for me, it's been very, very, very special. And my invitation for our audience is to do the same in your life, in your professional work. Why not starting a team meeting rather than going straight to the agenda? You just pop an image, you just do a reflective thoughts, you just take 2 or 3
That's
minutes,
beautiful.
summarize, and then you bring people from a higher state, just in a different mindset back to business.
So instead of meaningless chit chat, like, how was your weekend? Oh, I think this is a great way to really bring people back to this moment. And also it's a great way to learn about each other. I felt like I've learned something about you this week. I felt like, the connections that we have just by talking about a
Yeah.
small things, that really helps you. And I think it also allows us to express ourselves, not in a very rigid way, like, ooh, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. Because there's so much inside us that never gets expressed at work. But once that part is open, creativity is open, courage comes into surface. So yeah, I love your ideas.
Beautiful. I will not spoil what you just said. You said it so beautifully. I really loved it. So happy Friday to everybody. Thanks for staying with
Yes,
us.
have a great
And
weekend. See you next
have a
week.
great weekend. Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.